Triton!
All right, guys. Bobby and Andre back here. We're doing a little solo one this time. Anthony couldn't make it, but he'll definitely be involved in the future. Plenty of it. Maybe some solo with him and me. Maybe some solo of him and Andre. But we're here this week talking about Dr. Sleep, The Lighthouse, and Midsummer. And coughing, I guess.
Yeah, big horror films of the 2019. A lot that were some that were sort of not really discovered in their time.
No, it swept under the radar is what I like to say, because there was nothing really wrong with the films, I think.
Yeah.
I have my opinions about them, but I think we said that overall, I think, we wanted to talk about them because we liked them.
Yes.
Midsummer, me just actually recently watching last night. So I had seen the other two, but I hadn't seen Midsummer. And we saw Dr. Sleep together.
Yes.
And then we watched the other one separately. So
yeah. So I guess first film to talk about is The Lighthouse.
Yeah, The Lighthouse. Yeah, you're in good fashion as well.
Yes. This is how I normally dress.
What happened to your face?
It's appropriate for The Lighthouse.
Yes.
Willem.
Literally, that's what the movie starts off with.
That's our
It's a
introduction to Willem Dafoe, is a fart. And they continue throughout the film.
It's kind of like a main character of the film. Like,
yes.
You become attached to characters in movies. You become attached to the fart.
Yeah, in the way that New York City and, say, Harry Met Sally is a character in the film.
So New York City is like another character.
A character. I think he won... Did he win Best Supporting Actor at the Globes?
There's so many shows now, or
Yeah.
so many award shows, it's hard for me to remember, but he definitely won something for that.
Yeah.
I know that for a movie that didn't really win much across the board, it's talked about a lot.
Yes. It's kind of... It seems like a filmmaker's movie.
It is, hands down.
If you like, the form and the craft, and you're into the fact that they shot on film and they're shooting with a smaller aspect ratio that would be
square rather than widescreen. I mean, it's basically you're shooting with your TV screen.
Right. And I think they're trying to emulate how movies would be shot back then, probably. But interesting film.
And using techniques that I think that they used back then, as far as now we have CGI. We have different lenses, frankly, that you could use now that you didn't have back then. Then they used a lot of forced perspective in this movie, which is really cool.
Yeah. There's, I think it was, a lot of people said snubbed by the Oscars. I think it did get a cinematography nomination, which I think very well deserved for its, really stark black and white shots. A lot of very interesting...
A lot of shots that really bring you into the characters' feelings and emotions.
Yes.
Sometimes no sound except for the natural sounds. No like actual soundtracks. Sometimes no dialogue for long periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
So you really get sucked into the way the director's trying to use the camera to convey emotion.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking of some of the imagery in it. I guess... Spoilers for The Lighthouse.
Yes, we're going to spoilers on all of this stuff.
But the shot where it's isn't it a naked Willem Dafoe, and the light is coming, I don't remember if it's out of his eyes or out of his mouth, and he's like grabbing Pattinson, and it just looks like a painting. Looks like something that's very purposely been kind of composed this way, and almost... for just like a still shot. It's super striking and stays with you long after the movie's over.
Now that kind of stuff going on in the movie, though, is kind of... The whole movie is that really going on? Or is that in his head? What is he seeing? Or is Willem Dafoe crazy too? Did he make him crazy?
Are they just going crazy, or are they just, becoming delirious with the drinking? Especially because don't they start drinking like the lighter fluid for the...
Yeah, he starts making it out of kerosene. They make just the right batch.
Right.
Yeah, and then it's like gets them more jacked up than they'd ever gotten before on any alcohol, and then they, of course, get sick and start having withdrawals, and they're just completely addicted to it.
Right.
Had a very interesting turn of events in that movie.
Yeah. Honestly, a film that I think reminded me a lot of, kind of ironically with some of the other movies we're going to be talking about today, but The Shining. Definitely had some similarities there in terms of being characters who are isolated. In this case, it's on an island due to a storm instead of due to, I guess, snowy weather.
Yeah, and or just water rather than snow. Like this, they literally were in by ship.
Right.
They were in literally on by ship. They could not get away if they wanted to, except for the ship, and then of course,
Yes.
or the boat, and then that gets hacked to shreds. Which, by the way, by the end of the movie, do you agree with me that I can't really figure out who's doing what? I can't figure out what's real and what's not real, and what is real, I can't figure out who's doing it.
I see. Yeah, I think I understand. At least I think I got who was supposed to be doing all of the things.
So who do you think supposed to? Who is the crazy? Who is the person wielding the axe at the end?
Beginning to end, I think the movie's from Robert Pattinson's perspective. So even some of the fantastical elements, I think, are all in his head, not Willem Dafoe's head.
So Willem Dafoe's chasing him with an axe?
Maybe. Or Robert Pattinson thought that up as an excuse to, like, now I can become violent towards Willem Dafoe.
See, there's a lot of the movie. I liked it a lot because of the acting. I thought that the acting was fantastic. I thought they were extremely entertaining. And visually, it was really cool, too.
Yes.
For a black and white movie to base itself on visuals, that's kind of an oxymoron, you know?
Right. Yeah. It limits what it can do, but by limiting it, it makes it kind of more impressive.
It's just you remember a lot of shots from that movie.
Yes.
You really they tattoo themselves into your brain.
And a lot of the stuff that they do with practical effects, like where he murders the seagull.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been rare when I've seen a movie and been like, how did they do that?
Yeah, that looks so real.
Because it really looks like a seagull got hacked, or not hacked, but crushed to death by
pulverized.
Yeah, by Robert Pattinson. So I'm guessing it was like a robotic seagull of some sort, because I don't think that's CGI.
And
I don't think that they
would be all over it.
Yeah, I don't think he murdered a real seagull.
It has to be real.
It's a very gross movie. It's
gross, but it's gross in like more of like not in a horrific guts and blood way. It's gross in a humanistic bodily.
Yes. The best outside of we haven't seen the Batman yet, but of Robert Pattinson movies where he gets covered in shit.
Yeah, which I hope it happens in the Batman movie. Because they say it's going to be a Batman we haven't seen before.
That's right, and I mean we haven't seen that.
Yeah, Fecal Man. Again, it was gross. This is what we're talking about because of what the Lighthouse instilled in our thoughts.
So the director's last film, Robert Eggers.
Robert Neil Eggers.
He seems to like movies. I really was disappointed that I couldn't see this in the theater. It was in and out of the theater really fast, so I didn't have a chance to see it.
We talked about trying to go see it, but we just didn't.
Yeah. I'm kind of, I think, secretly happy now that we didn't see it in the theater. because it's honestly, I don't know if I'd be able to understand what they were saying without subtitles.
Or rewinding it for me. Yeah, there was
Yeah.
a couple times I had to rewind it.
There's the big long monologues.
To choke ye, engorging your organs till ye turn blue and bloated with bilge and brine and steaming beer no more. His only when he crowned to any time, forgone to any god or devil, forgone even to the sea.
It's both characters have accents,
And Pattinson's accent isn't great, but it's fine for some reason.
I wanted to mention that I read up on that, and apparently he's like, no, it's good. Like, I think people are like, your accent's very weird, and he's like, it was weird on purpose because this is how like this used to be done. But I think he was saying like it sounds like a mishmash of accents because where he's from, people sounded like they had a mishmash of different accents.
Guess,
but like it does sound like he's trying out a new accent every other scene.
And it ain't right. These lodges is more ramshackle than any shanty boys camp I ever seen. The Queen of England's old fancy housekeeper couldn't even done no better than what I done. Because I tell you, I scrubbed this here place twice over.
And I say you did nothing of the sort.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's real. I think that when people are from an area, there's one specific
Right.
accent. I don't think it's like that if you or me are going to sound...
Yeah.
I mean, we have different ways of talking, but we both sound like we're from Texas.
I'll say buffet every once in a while.
Yeah.
Outside of that.
Encyclopedia.
It's like, so I think Pattinson does a serviceable job. He's not bad by any means. The accent's the thing that does kind of... It bugs me a little bit.
But the rest of it, though, he gets into the character
great.
so
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
And
just some of his line delivery.
If I had a steak, I would fuck it.
Some of, like, just the way that he conveys emotions with his eyes.
self-gratification scenes, he's very into that.
That's right. He seems very good at that.
He knows how to do it.
I think that Willem Dafoe, though, is the big standout in terms of performances.
Yeah, well, because he
commits to it. He's got a accent that's consistent. He delivers those monologues. I didn't rewatch it. I wanted to.
He loses himself a couple times almost, I feel like, in a good way.
Yeah, there's scenes where he like doesn't blink. There's scenes where I love the scene where he gets offended by the fact that Robert Pattinson doesn't like his cooking.
Oh yeah.
And you actually feel like sad for this character who's just been like kind of a monster the whole time, but he conveys this like the
well, you start
the
to
pitiful sense of
why he is who he is.
Right.
Yeah.
You're fond of me lobster, ain't you?
Drunken in a Virginia fence.
I seen it. You're fond of me lobster. Say it. Say it. Say it.
No, I liked all of that for sure. And one of the things I like about Dafoe is that he's, Gary Oldman is definitely can take on any role. In True Romance, he plays like a Rastafarian drug dealer.
Yeah.
In Fifth Element, he plays this weird country accented villain that, I mean, he, Batman, or in the Dark Knight trilogy, whatever,
Right.
Batman Begins and all that, he plays Commissioner Gordon.
in the role of a lifetime. He was in Tiptoes.
Oh, how could you forget that one? So good that I actually don't even know what you're talking about, but
Do you not?
Tiptoes?
Tiptoes. In 1990. No, it was 2002. It was the same year Lord of the Rings came out. A movie came out with Kate Beckinsale, Matthew McConaughey, and Gary Oldman, where Gary Oldman played a midget. A little person. I think that's the proper PC term now. He plays a little person, but he's obviously not. So he plays the movie.
You took that
on
I am
his
a
knees.
chameleon too far.
He's on his knees, and in the trailer it says,
And in the role of a lifetime, Gary Oldman. Tiptoes.
and a role that like none of those actors ever want to be associated. Matthew McConaughey plays a Jewish person, which like if you say imagine a person who looks like the most non-Jewish possible.
Oh, yeah.
It's especially early 2002 blonde Matthew
How did this
McConaughey.
movie get off the one? How do I not know about it? And how did it get off the air?
You need to look it up. It's maybe my favorite bad movie of all time.
Oh, I'm definitely
Yeah.
gonna look it up.
Future review, Tiptoes.
Tiptoes, man. I just learned about that. Well, On the good parts I was going to say about Gary Oldman.
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's great. I just learned
He makes
something.
fun of it too now. Yeah.
I think everybody's got something in their career that they make fun of like that.
Yeah.
George Clooney does that with Batman.
Sure.
You know, Jordan Peele's starting to do that with his career.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jordan. I don't know you, but I'm disappointed in you. But anyways, but Gary Oldman can take on that comedian role. He can play so many different styles of things and truly like be disguised. Willem Dafoe has a very, very, very specific look and face.
Yes.
And is still able to do that in this, which I think is amazing to be able to do that. To make you not see Willem Dafoe because he looks so striking.
Yes. And you know, for me, I haven't seen every Willem Dafoe performance. I've seen a good share of them, probably the majority of them. I think this is probably, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when we're talking best Willem Dafoe performances of all time, I think this is going to be the one that people say, yeah, that's probably the best that he ever did.
This
and
one,
it's such a was he even nominated for Best Supporting Actor?
I can't remember,
so.
but I know it wasn't enough since I don't remember.
And there's those scenes where Pattinson's burying him alive, and he's like getting the dirt thrown directly in his eyes,
in his mouth,
and it's just like, man, like this doesn't seem like the type of movie where they made tofu, vegan, fake dirt. I think
no, they were doing it all. It's like The Revenant. They really did that movie.
Great performance. I think this is going to be one of those performances that 10 years from now people look back and say, why was that not awarded more? I did see in one of the award shows where Dafoe won. It was a good little speech, but he ended it with a quote from Lighthouse. And I don't think it played very well.
It didn't resonate?
Because it wasn't like one of the more famous. He should have just farted into the microphone.
Right.
That would have been that would have gotten him the Oscar nomination.
Or he could have just done the hall.
Or that. Or just go, was he scream hark at the end?
Yeah.
Just scream hark. But instead he was like, what did he say? He was like, be careful around seabirds.
And remember, it's bad luck to kill a seabird.
And then everyone's like,
like, we're not all in your head, Willem.
Oh, from the movie. Okay. I get it.
No, I hate it when that happens at shows too, man. And when people make speeches and just like, you just messed up.
When
Frances McDormand did that one where she came up there and she was like,
inclusivity writer.
And she said, please, and everyone stand up. You started just looking extremely strange to me. And
yes. It would have been better if he had just said like a line from Spider-Man 2002.
Oh, yeah.
I'm something of a scientist myself. Everyone's like, what? All right.
That would have been great.
Back to formula?
Yeah. Broom or fast and move to the next one. Oh, that was definitely
good.
Well, he is a great actor, though. And I think this
Yes.
one will be one that, again, 10 years from now will be talked about. I do think that Shadow of the Vampire is another one that will be talked about. Well, I'd still talk about it.
Yeah, I love
it was
that.
amazing.
It's very well done.
And, come on, let's face it. We just made some jokes about it, but he was an awesome Green Goblin.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody else really taking that next. It's
No.
going to be hard for me to see somebody as the Green Goblin
Unless
working.
they do it in a very different way.
Right.
I think he was really
like Ledger did after Keaton. or
shockingly looks more like the Green Goblin without the mask.
No, he does.
than
Like,
he does. But yeah, great. Yeah, especially for those types of movies and what they were. Yeah.
we'll meet again, Spider-Man.
That's right.
Avenge me! No!
Yeah. Do you remember when he's talking to the Harry though? And he's talking to Harry and he's like, let me give you a tip about your little girlfriend.
This is
like,
just going to become us doing...
broom or fast and move on to the next one. Like, I want to use that one day on somebody. Like, just doesn't even have to be about a girl, maybe about a dog.
Yeah.
Like, broom or fast and move to the next one.
Giving advice to your son one day.
Do what you need to with her, then broom her fast.
How do we... the heart, Harry!
Tell me how!
The heart! Or Norman, I think it's...
We'll show them!
A cunning warrior attacks neither the mind or the body. The heart! I remember a soccer coach That's what I'll.
Gets over with the
All right, guys,
loudspeaker.
get out there. I know we're down, but remember always, a cunning warrior never attacks the body or the mind. What do they attack, Coach? The heart.
And Bromer fast.
Rumor fast.
So one more thing to say about The Lighthouse. I have a last thing. I like movies that seem to be able to be distilled into like a singular idea that they're trying to convey. And The Lighthouse, for all of its weirdness, and I had to kind of look up some things and be like, oh, you see, it's the Greek god of whatever, and I was like, okay, that's fine. But for me, what this movie was about is how difficult it can be when two men have to live together in a small space for a long period. Just the testosterone and the farts and the drinking and the going crazy. And
Stuff that you don't
machismo.
mind one time every now and then,
Right.
but when you have to hear it consistently and be around it consistently,
This
what
gave
it'll
me
do to you.
flashbacks to, dorm life and things like that.
Yeah, there are times that I've been on, for me, it gave me flashbacks of you getting to know somebody for the first couple days on like a summer retreat.
Sure.
And it's like, oh, these guys, this is going to be cool.
great.
And there's like that, usually that same guy that you were cool with, that you end up hating by the end of the trip and being cool with somebody you didn't think you were going to like.
Right.
And so it's that kind of situation, I think. By the end of it, it's like they hated each other.
Yeah. But then they also kind of needed each other, and when they got drunk enough,
They were fine.
They would slow dance together and almost kiss.
And then they would almost kill each other.
And then they would almost kill each other, right?
And then-
And it just like all of that, it just reminded me like young men living together in a small, gross spot for a long period of time, and what happens when there's just tons of testosterone, and there's no way to like. There's no women around. There's nothing.
Yeah, testosterone,
to
anger, grudging, like all kinds of
lust,
things that are just
all of it. Yeah,
turning in and manifesting into other things. Like.
And it's a good kind of comparison to The Witch, because The Witch felt like very much like a female-oriented film.
Yeah, that was really cool that he went that way.
And this way, he's like, all right, and now the boys.
In fact, we're only going to give you 2 of them. Well, maybe we'll give you 4, but those 2 you're not going to see again.
Yeah. But interesting movie. Definitely a movie that'll be talked about for a long time. Robert Eggers definitely has a style, and he's an original voice. So I want him to keep making weird, cool movies.
I definitely want to keep making movies. The Witch I liked it better the second time I saw it.
Yeah.
The first time I saw it, I did see it when I was drinking. And I watched it with
that's
Nate.
not
It was
gonna
late at night. Yeah, it was started to get confusing.
And not you, ours.
I cannot be judged by false Christians, for I have done nothing save preach Christ's true gospel.
But even then, what the movie is trying to even say subliminally, you're not going to catch it unless you're full of sound mind.
Yes.
And then also, between The Witch and The Lighthouse, I don't know if I think I can watch The Witch more. I think there's more like Easter egg fun things to look at here and there.
Yeah.
Visually, it's really cool as far as the settings and all that stuff. But I don't know if I can rewatch The Lighthouse a whole lot.
Sure. I think I'm the opposite. I think The Lighthouse for me kept me a little bit more interested throughout. I like both movies. Have you seen The Master yet?
No, and you keep telling me to, and I haven't. I'm sorry.
It's okay. But The Master is one of my favorite movies, period.
No, you've said that multiple times, which is why I need to watch it. I owe you that.
And The Lighthouse feels like The Master at points. And some of it is like plot stuff, and some of it is how it's just like very like, we're going to, sit uncomfortably with like 1 or 2 very disturbed individuals, and we're just going to like let their psychology waft over to you for the next, hour and a half, 2 hours.
And you do like a little bit more of that deep. I mean, not that I don't like a deep film, but you like a little more of the deeper slow burn than I do.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like it, but that is as much as we do like a lot of the same stuff, most of the same stuff. There is, which is what I like about people having their own small little niche that separates them a little more. I get a little bit more into a lot of stupid candy movies that are just I want to see it for this stupid reason. Like I literally went and saw a movie one time when I was in high school because Hans Zimmer did the music for it.
I wasn't sure if you were joking when you said, "Do you want to see Sonic?" Which is why I never responded.
That was a serious. See, that's what I'm saying. That was a serious. That's the kind of shit that makes me different than you.
Exhibit A.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it serious?
What was the text that I sent? I said, should I feel bad that I actually want to go see Sonic or something like that?
And I didn't respond.
Yeah, nobody responded. In fact, the next text I sent him, it was blocked. He wouldn't even let me call anymore.
I pulled the plug on this whole thing.
Yeah, literally. No, but I like seeing movies like that sometimes. Yeah. But as a whole, I like it a lot. I think Lighthouse was very well done. I thought it was an interesting style of film that I'd never seen before in a modernized way. Like obviously, it was trying to do old school things.
Yes.
But like I'd never seen the content of a movie in this style.
The squid stuff when he's going up the scenes and he sees that the lights from the I forget the name of the machine there, but it was all very well done.
I think that squid stuff and a lot of some of the imagery I think was all of sort of like
him Prometheus. Now that I remember, the people were talking about how it's like him stealing, like the story of Prometheus, stealing the fire from the gods, and I was like, yeah, I can see that. But I prefer it as just a movie about how difficult it is. Yeah,
I prefer it more simplistic.
For men to live together.
More simplistic. All right, so let's brass tack it a little bit.
Okay.
Did it need to be made?
This is going to be a deep cut here, but a deep dive, appropriate for the Lighthouse. There's a movie starring Dennis Hopper from years ago about a mermaid, and it's like a kind of a horror classic because of some of the people who were involved in it, and I'll just kind of leave it at that for now. But I saw the movie, it was fine, it was a little bit disappointing. I'm happy this movie was made because this is what I was hoping that movie would be. Okay. This is the best horror film I've ever seen involving a mermaid. I think we need more movies like this.
No, I think it needed to be made for sure. I think it was definitely a something that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
Was it made for money or for art? I think that's obvious. It was made for art.
Yes. I mean...
And again, a lot of people there's half the people that, loved him in Twilight don't even know about this movie because I think he has fully graduated from that stereotype. Yeah. I think he was away from it. And I think we've already covered this. Will it be talked about in 10 years?
I think so.
Yeah, and we agreed it will.
Yeah.
I think it's too artsy, and I think it turned too many heads for such a low budget film, including the actors taking pay cuts for it.
Sure.
And then the last thing, could you watch it with your parents? I don't know if I'd want to.
I don't know if I'd want to either. I think you could. I think it's.
I think it'd be easier to watch that with my mom than The Boys.
Yeah, as bizarre as everything that happens in The Lighthouse is, it's artistically enough done that it doesn't feel like any of it is gratuitous. Mm-hmm. And also that's another...
And it's not gratuitous. Yeah. It doesn't just push it in your face consistently.
And that's another thing that this movie and The Master have in common, in that they're both very artistic, some would even say pretentious feeling films that also have fart humor, which I'm always a proponent of.
I love fart humor. It'll never die.
The old adage is a great piece of art is something that's going to appeal to...
a fart.
I think that's good. So, watch The Lighthouse if you want to see something that you don't usually see.
I think it's worth your time.
Yeah.
And you're talking about me corralling him with farts.
Yeah, we do TV shows too. Pick up your phone, close it down on your throne, and listen while you take a fool, 'cause it's movie reviews for you. Yeah.
Goddamn farts! Goddamn! Goddamn!